CDs, DVDs, and mobile phones, computers and laptops.
In today's segment of Tech Talk, we have Dr. Tshering Cigay Dorji, the CEO of Thimphu TechPark, and he is going to share his views about technology in Bhutan. What does life and livelihood in Tech Park, how does it function?
First of all, I would like to mention that it is a great honor and privilege for me to have a chance to speak with you and to be heard by the general radio audience. I'm currently working at Thimphu TechPark as the Chief Executive Officer. I have been with Thimphu TechPark since the beginning of its operations in 2012. We basically have two broad mandates, and one is to bring in FDI companies to create employment opportunities for our youth. And the other mandate that we have is to support entrepreneurship. So we provide trainings and we conduct a lot of events and workshops to raise awareness on entrepreneurship and also to encourage young people to take up entrepreneurship. And as of now, we have around 600 youth working from the tech park. That is excluding Bhutanese entrepreneurs, whom we have impacted, and also whom we are supporting at the incubation center at the tech park. The tech park, I would say, is a very vibrant place. Lot of people from outside coming. Someone has remarked that it's the most international place in Thimphu or in Bhutan, because we have companies from all over the world. In fact, we have companies from Canada, Switzerland, Australia, USA, Bangladesh, India, etc. So it's a vibrant place, and Tech Park is a new kind of project in Bhutan. It's one of a kind, and with new times come new challenges, and I think Tech Park is one of the responses that Bhutan has come up with regard to the challenges that come with the new times, as I mentioned.
In the life of being a CEO of Tech Park, how IT is your life? How do you use IT in your day-to-day lives now?
I come from a technology background. I keep myself updated with technology. And before I moved on to this management position at the Tech Park, so I was a hardcore IT guy working in Bhutan Telecom. And currently at the Tech Park, I help with the IT matters besides my management job, but also for my own life. So I use computers and my mobile phones to improve my productivity at workplace a lot. So yeah, I use many tools and many apps and programs to improve my productivity. So IT is very much part of my life.
So moving on to the general part of IT in Bhutan. So what is the situation of IT in Bhutan, and at what rate do you think it is growing?
Currently, we are in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. So this fourth industrial revolution is characterized by connectedness, social media, and things, concepts such as Internet of Things, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, etc., etc. Mobile phone has very much become a part of our life, and I would go on to say now it is almost like another organ in our body. I've read somewhere on the internet that some people are already into embedded technology, and rather than carrying a phone separately, they have embedded chips under their skin. So it's I don't know what might happen in the future. So the changes is technology is so fast in this age. At no point in the history of human race in this world has the change been so fast. The change is overwhelming. A futurist, whose profession is to predict the future, but using data, not using, astrology or godly things. They use data. And this futurist who advises some of the big companies in the world, he has said that in the next 20 years, the world will change more than it has changed in the last 300 years. So we can't even imagine what kind of world we will live in, or by the time we get old, or the kind of world that our children will live in. It is very hard to imagine. The changes are so fast. Artificial intelligence, so many big companies and big countries in the world are investing so much in the research and development in the field of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies like robotics and things like that. So we can't imagine. And given these changes happening, I think Bhutan should be prepared. And here I would like to mention that we seem to be ignoring what is happening. We are not doing enough. If we look at the human history, the biggest changes in the way we live and the way the countries have developed has been brought about by these technological changes, which we call as industrial revolutions. Now we have come to the fourth industrial revolution, we say. So the major industrial revolution took place in England with the invention of steam engine, automation, and mass production of goods. That time probably we were not aware that this was happening. We were locked up here in the Himalayas. But now, when this fourth industrial revolution is happening right in front of our eyes, and every one of us, including our leaders, the policymakers, our politicians and bureaucrats, our young people and people like you and me are aware of it, and we still do nothing about it, I think it will be a pity. So I feel that we should make plans and programs to try and catch up and to take advantage of these changes. Only then can, I think, Bhutan achieve our dream of being more economically self-reliant. So I think we are not doing enough. And one of the ways to catch up would be, through education. We'll talk more about that later.
So yes, thank you. So yes, so I think we are still very ignorant of the fact that technological revolution is striking us, but we are not doing anything much. So I think it's time we start doing something about it. And now moving on to the next question. Bhutan started on a really good note as a third world country, but I think, like Doctor said earlier, we are still denying the fact that technology is very powerful and we're not doing much about it. So what do you think Bhutan should focus in the field of technology to have more faster and more productive outcome?
Yes, I think there are a few areas that Bhutan could focus on. So I'll be very candid. When it comes to technology, I think from the government side, the focus has most of the time been on automating government services like public service delivery. But I feel that to have more developments in the field of technology, we should develop the industry. IT industry needs to be developed further. If there is support needed to be given to our private sector in the field of IT, they need to be given. Because many of these IT companies started long time back. They are still quite small. They have not been able to grow. I think support needs to be given either, through other incentives, or at least maybe through preferential treatment for government tenders. Maybe give preferential treatment to our local IT firms so that they can grow and build capacity. So that is one on the industry front. We need to develop the industry. When you talk about technology, not just trying to do more incomes in terms of e-government and G2C applications, but also to develop the industry. I think that will be very important. And even more important than that, to catch up with technology as a nation, we need to tackle that from the education side. So, working at the tech park, it's sometimes very sad to see our high school graduates, Bhutanese job seekers who have finished high school, they have not had the opportunity to learn computer. Even some of them coming from remote areas, maybe even not had the opportunity to touch a computer. In this age, I think it is very sad. So, if necessary, maybe we should devote our resources to that sector, because this is very urgently needed, to give opportunities to our young people to prepare for the kind of world they would live in, and by that introducing IT education in terms of maybe teaching them how to learn to code. When we talk about IT education, it's not just about being, using the computer or being a consumer of technology, but to enable our young people to become creators, software developers or creators of content, not just passive consumers of technology. So that initiative needs to be taken from the education side, because that will have the biggest impact on our future generation and the future of our country.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, we were only taught on how to use PowerPoint and Microsoft Word and everything during our 10th standard. That was just basic IT. So I think it's really important to now incorporate like more advanced technological syllabus in education system.
Yes, I think here I think that the education system could approach in two ways. Probably for the general students, you could introduce some coding. Maybe not all students have the aptitude for coding, but then you can have people taking computer science as a kind of a optional subject, maybe right from the class 9, 10 itself. And for this group of students who has the aptitude and interest, you can teach them more advanced coding. And for the general graduates as well, not just learning how to use, but also they should be taught some concept of coding, the programming, how it works. And some of them will probably become very good programmers by the time they graduate, because if this concept is introduced at a earlier stage in the schools.
Yes, so I think even in college, 3 years is a little less to comprehend and understand all the codings that we do in college. And I think starting from a very early stage would be really nice, and I think it would also build your capacity.
Yes, I very much agree.
So could you give us your opinion on in relation to tech and economy?
All right. So Bhutan has been talking about its cherished goal of economic self-reliance for a long time. I feel that now is the time to really take it more seriously and try and achieve it. Our successive kings have nurtured the development of our country thus far, and they have given us free education. Our generations are all beneficiaries of that. And finally, our fourth king, His Majesty the fourth Tugyalpo, has given us democracy, against the people's will. And some people has called it a gift, and then it has been interpreted in many ways. But I think it was His Majesty the fifth king who also reminded us that democracy is also a responsibility. And in that respect, I feel that one of the biggest responsibility that we the people have in this generation, is to make our country more economically self-reliant. And I feel that now we have the necessary tools to achieve that. We have achieved basic level of infrastructure development in the country. We have good telecommunication networks, road connectivity is not so bad, and education level, literacy, basic level is all set, is good. Now, what is needed to achieve economic self-reliance is put our hearts and mind to it and work harder and take that as our common goal and vision. And that will naturally involve hard work and sacrifices. And I think we should be prepared to do that. And besides having this collective vision and putting hard work and dedication towards that, for instance, like the Japanese did after the Second World War, how they achieved, how they made their country industrially developed. That was by all people working together with a collective vision to make their country great again. And I feel that the Bhutanese could do this at this time. We are all now very much aware of our public threat and our dependence on other countries. I think we are very much aware now we need to come together and work hard towards it and reduce our dependence. Say no to some of the free money that comes in. We should be prepared to when we take less money from outside, naturally we will have shortage. That means we will feel the pinch. We should be ready to feel this pinch. And then together with that, we should take advantage of all the opportunities that emerging technologies offer. So we should prepare our manpower, like I mentioned, through education and through right policies for developing the economy. I think if we have this collective vision and then work together, like I mentioned, and if we are ready to sacrifice some of the little comforts for the short term in order to have a better long-term, stronger, more self-reliant country, I think we can achieve that. And I feel that this is the right time, and that is how the technology and our economy are linked.
So IT could compensate for the shortage of resources that our country faces. So thank you very much for your answer. Now coming on to the next question. In technological functions of Bhutanese lives, so how GNH do you think our country has become that? Do you think IT is complementing GNH concept?
GNH is a very good guiding philosophy, and I think it's important for all of us as a Bhutanese to understand this and not criticize. Some people do criticize, but I think GNH is a great guiding philosophy for us. So GNH basically means development with values, as His Majesty has interpreted, and this basically balancing economic, material side of development with the well-being of our people. So GNH, I think, is very important, and GNH is very broad and can be interpreted in many ways. So now when it comes to connecting GNH with technology, I would say that, first and foremost thing is that technology is just a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good purpose and bad purpose. Technology can be used to enhance GNH in many ways. But at the same time, misuse of technology, like misuse of any tool, can be harmful to GNH as well. So in this regard, I would just like to quickly reflect on the misuse of social media. So social media is, it has impacted the people all over the world. So Bhutan is not just in Bhutan, so sometimes we may feel that these things are happening only in Bhutan. It is happening everywhere, even in the developed countries. So there are good sides and bad sides to it. But I think when it comes to social media use, probably educating and raising more awareness among the young people who are vulnerable on proper social media use, I think those would be good ways to go about it. But at the same time, social media, some of the good aspects of social media is that people have become a little more accountable. Now every public organization is kind of concerned that their name might come in Facebook or some forum. So that way, I think it keeps check and balance. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who misuse social media. So I think technology ultimately is a tool, and I think that more education and more awareness on proper use is the key.
What is the latest technology that Bhutan is currently working on? I mean, around the world there's Internet of Things, like you said, and there's robot assistants and virtual reality, so many technologies coming in. So what do you think Bhutan is currently working on? What is the latest technology that Bhutan has at the moment?
So it's a broad question. Bhutan in general, I may not be totally aware, what things are happening. But I think in the government side, I think the government is really focused on improving public service delivery, making it more efficient and easier for people to access, so like payment systems and all that. Yeah, now you can make payments online without having to go and personally to make payments or avail services. So most of these are happening. So one of the systems that the government has been working on is also, for instance, the e-procurement. So the tender documents and all can be downloaded, and their bidding documents can be submitted to online. So these are, I think, various things happening on the government side. And in the other side, I think one of the good things on the kind of a private, non-governmental kind of side, I think FabLab is doing a good job. So they have, I think they played a big role in the last National STEM Olympiad. So they need to be appreciated. So they have taught the young high school students how to program and control robots with their own programs. So I think these are some of the good developments, and this kind of initiatives need to be supported and maybe taken to more colleges or more high schools. Yeah.
So yes, now moving on to the next question. What do you wish to see, or what can you see in the next decade or two in terms of technological advancement? Because we cannot deny that this technological revolution is inevitable. And so what do you wish to see in the next decade or two in Bhutan?
Yeah, I think it will be very difficult to predict 10 years down the line. Maybe 3 to 4 years, probably we can say something. So I think very soon this Internet of Things and artificial intelligence will come in a very big way. So along with that, what happens is the traditional businesses get disrupted. So we all know about Uber and Airbnb, which disrupted the hotel industry and also the taxi. And then now the cryptocurrency is coming in. I think Facebook has launched its own cryptocurrency. So probably the cryptocurrency will become a big thing as well, along with blockchain. And that may disrupt the traditional financial sector, in a big way. It makes then the transferring of money and all would be possible without going through the normal banking channel as well. It may become possible. So these are, I think, some of the very big things that will happen. So Internet of Things and all that. And naturally, because Bhutan is part of this world, we are not located somewhere out of this world, so we will be impacted. So because this will impact us, so rather than waiting for it to come and impact us negatively, I think preparing for it proactively is the way to go.
Very true. So now coming on to the last part of the interview, I might have missed some important parts of technology or any opinion that Doctor might have wanted to share. So is there anything that you'd like to share now?
Nothing additional, but I just like to stress once again that this age is the age when the changes in this world, the Earth, on our planet, is happening at the fastest pace. This has never been the case so far in our history, and technology is overtaking our lives, and a lot of new developments taking place in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies, and all these. So rather than waiting for it to overwhelm us, I think it would be good for Bhutan, including all the people, our policymakers, politicians, and all of us. I think it will be good for all of us to be prepared and to do something to, face this oncoming challenge and turn it into our advantage.
CDs, DVDs, and mobile phones, computers and laptops.
With this, we have come to the end of this segment with Dr. Tshering Cigay Dorji. Thank you very much for giving us your time and sharing your views with us. To all the listeners, don't forget to tune in next time to catch another episode of Tech Talk. And for now, this is your producer, Kazong, saying goodbye.